So I'm going to be talking about an aspect of watercolor that is a combination of both artistic expression and scientific thinking. So over the next couple of minutes, ideally 3 to 5 minutes, we will look at how we can find our inspiration and develop our own unique, if I can say, artistic style using a thoughtful and yet a scientific approach. How does that sound? Okay, so first, let us talk about the importance of the most important thing, and that is self-reflection. The importance of self-reflection in developing your own artistic voice. Now, I emphasize on the word own artistic voice, right? So it is extremely important as an artist to have your own unique voice with your own frequency and amplitude, right? So research has shown time and again, and there's no doubt about it, that our experiences, our emotions, our own passions are the key things that play not only a significant role, but probably the most crucial role in shaping our creativity. So by exploring our own personal journey, your own personal journey, you will be able to uh, create art that's not just visually appealing, right? But it also carries a deep, profound emotional depth that resonates your voice, right? It would be amplifying your own voice, the message that you want to convey. So just to take an example, I will go back to my childhood. So as a child, um, I grew up in a small town called Siliguri, which is in the foothills of the Himalayas. It's a small little town. And we used to stay on the third floor of an apartment with a huge balcony. And it used to be literally huge, right? Um, so those days, we did not have power generators and we did not have power backups. Um, and I think I was blessed that we didn't have that. We didn't have power generators. One thing that I used to love was power cuts. When the lights used to suddenly, particularly in the evening hours, you're sitting down to study, complete your homework and things like that, and off it goes. There's no light. Nothing better than that. And you might be thinking, am I nuts? Well, maybe I was, but that's how it was. I really used to look forward to when the lights would go off, because that would give me a chance uh, to break free from the shackles of homework and all of that and just run to the balcony to spend some minutes, some hours, about half an hour, um, when I used to get to stand by the balcony, the huge open balcony, and look at the infinite dark sky, right? And it was a green hamlet, right? So relatively green as compared to what we have in Bangalore and what we have in, all the cities, New York and all of that. So it used to have dark black skies, starlit, and I can never forget that. The depth, the vastness, the belittling feeling, the mystery, the um, mysticness, the beauty, the gorgeousness. And I cannot, explain in words the emotions that I used to have just by looking at the sky. And also a feeling of completeness, because at that time when the power would go off, I would have my father, my mother, and on particularly summer days we would all sit in the balcony. So while I used to look at the sky, that feeling of completeness, you could hear the voices of your near and dear ones, yet you are one with the stars, you are one with the cosmos. That feeling was overwhelming for me. So that emotion, that particular experience plays so much of a role in my paintings late in the later years. When I started painting, I think I gave a great importance and weightage to express those emotions that I had expressed or experienced in those years, in those early years of my life. I developed a deep connection and a bond with the cosmos, with the night skies, the contrast that the sky opens, the color palette. And you would see most of my paintings have a very low key kind of a color palette, which reflects the kind of love that I have for the cosmos. So, yeah, that's about the importance of self reflection. Find out what is your unique flavor, right? Now, let's come to the science part, right? So, let's discuss the science of colors and how experimenting with different color combinations can actually evoke very specific emotions and moods in you and in your audience, right? So, colors, we all know that colors can actually have a deep uh, psychological impact, right, on our perception. And the understanding of this can actually help you um, make a more intentional and uh, careful choice of colors in your own watercolor paintings. So when you are designing your color palette, as I was talking about yesterday, it's important that you consider what is the kind of emotion and what is the kind of mood that you want to evoke in your audience, and based on that you choose the colors. And even if you talk about the principles of art and yeah, in the principles of art, color is not one of the principles of art, but you have levers like you have harmony and you have balance and you have how do you achieve these? You achieve these by a choice of colors. Color is one of the levers that plays a very great role in ensuring that your painting goes by the principles of art, abides by the principles of art, right? So and while you are considering colors, be prudent in your attempts, right? Don't be afraid to try new color palettes and, you know, just check out if they resonate with your artistic vision, your own artistic vision, because maybe, your first painting may not be a true reflection of what you're trying to express. And that's absolutely okay. We all find the way when we try out different things, right? So be bold and try out different color palettes. So, um, you know, one more thing that is very important is, you know, I would say learning from, if I can use the word masters. So, as uh, scientifically minded artists, right? We must acknowledge the importance of learning from masters, right? So, by studying the works of famous watercolor artists, and not just watercolor artists, any artists, you need to know about the history of art and how art has evolved. You can actually gain insights into their techniques, their compositions, the use of their colors, how the color palettes have evolved over time, over through history. You would see there is a gradual progression of the way colors have been used in history, or, particularly in oil paints and in watercolors. The color palette that you would see in the 18th century was very different from what was there in artwork that was done before that, right? And the color palette that has been used early in the 19th century is very different from what you see now, right? So it is a reflection of the lifestyles, the reflection of the thought processes and everything that comes into picture when you are choosing that. And it is important to understand the evolution of artwork in order to let your artwork have an have the maturity that reflects the understanding of history of art, right? So, and this in turn actually helps you improve your skills as well, right? And when you see the artwork of the masters, you actually get to improvise and develop your own artistic voice, because you will see how things have developed over time, and then you can in the language of mathematics we say, extrapolate it to form your own style, individual style. And lastly, the most important thing, right? uh, Whatever creativity we say and whatever we talk about our own style, we cannot ever, never forget the importance of practice, right? Importance of honing our skills, and when we do that, it is the only way to allow our own artistic style to emerge naturally over time. Your artistic style is not something that you discover like discovering a diamond from the coal mine, right? Even if you have to talk about discovering a diamond from a coal mine, you have to dig, right? And that takes effort. So when you have to discover your own style, you have to dig, and that dig is very metaphorical with practice that we have to do in order to find our own uh, styles. And even speaking of science, research has actually shown in neuroscience that the only thing when that we practice consistently, um, when we practice consistently, um, what happens in our brain is that the neural connections inside our brain, they get strengthened, and more and more neural connections are formed, and that helps us improve our skills and develop our artistic voice as well. So practice is something we can never um, overlook. So to summarize, what did we talk about? We spoke about incorporating self-reflection by um, going for walks, by introspecting, by spending time with yourself, right? However it be, self-reflection, experimentation, and developing a deep understanding of colors, the science behind colors, right? And practice. These are a couple of things, if you keep in mind, you can actually unlock your artistic potential and develop a unique watercolor style. And if you're an oil paint or an acrylic artist, these are things that you can as well incorporate and implement to make sure that your artwork is both visually captivating and um, emotionally resonant. So thank you for joining me today in this uh, for this talk. And I hope this talk has inspired you to embrace the intersection of art and science in your watercolor, acrylic, oils, whichever medium you prefer in your endeavors. Right? Thank you and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.